I think the first thing I really would like the American public to grasp and to accept is that the border in Mexico is not just a source of illicit drugs, and that Mexico is not a source of violence. And then, as you have intimated, to go into the history, if we go into the 19th century, the illicit movement of people was from north to south, not from south to north. The history of banditry, of cattle rustling, of theft, and also of human captivity went from north to south, also in both directions. I think we can certainly, for the border region itself, in its history, we can certainly take a page from Pekka Himalayan, from Brian DeLay, from Sam Truitt, and from other authors who have worked, coming from an orientation to Western U.S. history. But I think they have helped us to understand that this was an area, as I pointed out in one of the maps that I showed today, this was an area that for a long period of time, through the 17th and 18th century, was much more under the control of indigenous peoples than it was under the control of any European power. Juliana Barr has pointed this out, of course, very well for the Hasinai of Texas. So to think about the depth of history in this area is very important. We were also talking about the fact that Spaniards in places like New Mexico, which were brought into the American Republic after a war, Spanish settlement there is older than English settlement, even in Jamestown. So to understand the longevity of a cultural and historical presence in this area, I think, is very important, in addition to the very real strength of the indigenous peoples. So I think, to summarize, it's very important for American citizens, for the American public in general, to understand that the violence we associate with the border is definitely on both sides. That most Mexicans who are striving to come north, and Central Americans who are coming through Mexico, this is an extremely complex economic and social, ethnic and national situation. They're coming either escaping violence or they're coming just barely to earn a living. And they're doing the very things that any rational person would do. They're trying to come into a labor market that they think is going to reward them greater for their work. So that we need to rehumanize this border. And we need to see it in a cultural and historical perspective.